Hello everybody, my name is Madina Zhambylova and I'm a third-year student of Zhambylova University, and now I'm going to present to you my research paper, which is called Using Songs to Develop EFL Students' Vocabulary. Now let's talk about the content of my presentation. I'll talk about the purpose and significance of my research, also about the research questions and hypotheses, participants, and then I'll move to research methods and instruments, and I'll talk about the literature review, research stage, results and findings, and the last one is conclusion. So let's start from the purpose. The purpose of my research paper was to identify and describe the role of songs for EFL students in their increasing vocabulary skills. Also, I want to mention some aims which I wanted to reach. These are to find out how songs can affect for learning new words and phrases, also to investigate the pros and cons in using songs for increasing vocabulary skills. Now, what are the significance of my study? Firstly, it helps to identify a development of songs in learning vocabulary, and secondly, it helps to find which genre of songs can be more appropriate for enhancing vocabulary skills for EFL students. And here you can see my research questions and hypotheses. The first, my question was about the attitude of Kazakhstani students in using songs for enhancing their vocabulary skills. The second research question, what are the disadvantages and advantages of using different genres of songs in EFL learning? Also, let's move to the hypothesis. The hypothesis sounds that using songs can improve and increase learners' vocabulary. Also, I hypothesize that different kind of songs, like genres, can be also certainly influenced for learning new words and phrases. In my research, were involved students from different universities of Kazakhstan. And so the data was collected from 6 different universities, as you can see here in the list. So the number of questionnaire participants amounted 55 and the number of interviewees 14. The next one is my research methods and instruments. My research is descriptive, and for creating the study I used mixed methods, which included qualitative and quantitative approaches. And for collecting the necessary data, they were used questionnaire and individual interview. Now let's move to the literature review. Here you can see the list of researchers and their articles which I used in my study. Moreover, I want to give special attention to Matthew's work, who claimed that songs can be effectively used for creating enjoyable learning atmosphere. And here you can see his quote about how songs can affect for learning vocabulary for students, and according its lyrics and repetition rhythm, like all these things can influence for students to their enhancing vocabulary. Let's move to the research stages. So after choosing my research topic, I started to review all previous works and articles of other researchers in order to have some kind of knowledge about my topic. Then I started to create an interview and questionnaire questions. After this process, I started to conduct this individual interview and questionnaire. For questionnaire, I used Google form, and also I want to mention some fact that due to this kind of situation, like epidemic, which is called COVID-19, there were some problems with individual interview, but despite this fact, I started to conduct this individual interview through WhatsApp. And after this full process, I started to collect this data and analyze the results. The next, results and findings. So the major finding of my research was the fact that all participants found songs as a useful and effective tool for increasing their vocabulary. And you can see here the chart of the result. The following main revelation is that pop songs, lyrical songs, and the rap were found as the most useful genres of songs which can influence for enhancing the vocabulary skills. And moreover, it is found that songs can be easily used by students who professionally engaged in the music sphere to enhancing their vocabulary skills. And while for students who are not musicians, karaoke can also be useful for this process. And furthermore, I want to mention that nouns, verbs, and slangs were found as the most memorable form of words. But now I want to mention some negative finding from my research. And for this finding, there can be included two genres of songs, such as rock and rap. And according to my research, there was found that these kind of songs consisted the most number of bad phrases and words comparison with other genres. And accordingly, of course, these are bad for our generation. But despite this fact, most of EFL students found this genre of songs as a convenient for vocabulary learning, because according to them, they also concluding my research, I can say that my hypothesis was confirmed, and all my research questions were also answered. And also, I want to add some limitations which were faced with me during this study. And the first of all is the COVID-19. Because before this research, I wanted to make some experiments, but due to this epidemic, it didn't happen. But despite this fact, I could reach my aims and purpose, and also I didn't have any problems with completing the necessary number of participants, because we're living in the modern century, so it could be happen through different digital sources. So thank you to watching my video presentation, and I want to say goodbye.